Am I the jerk for not going away for the weekend with my family? I, an 18-year-old female, am the eldest of 3 and currently live at home with my parents. I graduated last year and had a massive falling out with my friends from high school following our school trip. I have not had a very active social life and have not gone out much in the last 6 months unless it has been with family or my partner. It was not until February, when I started university, that I met new people whom I now consider some of my best friends. Outside of university, we have only managed to hang out once, as we live more than 3 hours away from each other. Recently, an opportunity arose when my family told me they were planning on going to a country town for the annual field day. We have not been to this field day in 5 years due to COVID-19 and other reasons, meaning I was 13 or 14 the last time we went. This field day is something that I have never enjoyed and previously had no choice but to attend. Since turning 18, I have been told that I do not have to attend family holidays or outings, and have even been thanked on occasion when I do. I regularly spend weekends at home or out to dinner with my family, while my 17-year-old sister goes out to parties and gatherings. I have not missed any major holidays or outings since I turned 18 and had the opportunity to do so. This is the first and only time I have ever said that I do not want to go on a family trip. When I first voiced this a month ago, I was told that it was fine. Now that it is less than a week away from this trip, I am being told that this is the last opportunity for us to do this as a family of 5. This is the same argument I was told back at Easter when I had an assessment due and asked if I could stay behind while they went away. Tonight, when I asked for the 5th time over the last month if I could have my friend over while they were away, I was met with the same argument that this was the last time we would be doing something as a family, and was told that I was being selfish because it is important to my dad that I go. Previously, I would just give in and go, but I am kind of over being told that I do not act like an adult, but not being given the chance to do adult things. It feels like I am being guilt-tripped into going even though it is the last thing I want to do. It is not even about me having a friend over either, it is because I am saying I do not want to go. Now they are saying I cannot stay at home if I do not go and need to find somewhere else to stay while they are away. So, am I the asshole for not wanting to go? Simply put, you are an adult now, and they told you that it's up to you if you would like to go or not. If they had a problem with you not wanting to go, they should have said that when you had time to prepare. It just seems like your parents really want to keep you on a short leash, and I apologize that that's happening. It might be a good idea to start thinking about moving out and finding a place of your own. Am I the jerk for not helping to watch my roommate's dogs? I live with 3 other roommates. 2 of them, Alex and Lucy, are dating and have been at the beach for the past week and still have another week left. They have a small dog and are paying another friend to live in the house and watch their dog for those 2 weeks. He is an easy dog and I love the friend who is helping, so I have been okay with that. Alex and Lucy are spending 1 week with one family and 1 week with another family. 2 days ago, the second family texted my roommate, Sue, who was home with me, to ask if she could help watch their family dog because their usual sitter had something come up. She ran it by us, and I said sure because she is a really old dog and probably cannot handle a kennel or boarding place. Their family came on the way to vacation, dropped off the dog, and paid Sue $200 to watch her for the week. Everything was fine until it was time to go to bed. The friend and Alex and Lucy's dog were staying in one room. I have a cat, so I stay in my own room, and Sue has a dog herself, so we were going to put this old dog in the guest room. She will eat things she is not supposed to, so she cannot roam the house at night. She ended up barking all night. Sue caved and let this old dog sleep with her and her own dog in her room, but when she left for a morning shift at 3 a.m. and put this old dog in the guest room, she started barking immediately and would not stop. I am a light sleeper and had a hard time sleeping all night. I got up around 6 a.m. and let the dog out and watched her downstairs because of all the barking. I was up for the day. Well, the other friend decided to sleep until noon, and I was stuck watching this old dog until he got up. Yesterday, because of their work schedules, I had to watch this old dog again. Usually, I do not mind dogs, but she is bad as hell. Today, I decided I was not going to help at all. I'm not getting paid like the other 2 friends, and I have my own cat to worry about. So this morning, I let her keep barking. I stayed in my room until around 11 and let the other friend take care of her. When I walked downstairs to leave to go visit my family, he seemed really annoyed that I had stayed in my room and did not help out at all. Am I the asshole for not caring for the dog? I never agreed to help out, and I am not getting paid a dime while she is here. You are not the jerk. He needs to take responsibility for the job he is being paid for, or split the money. What you said is true. It's not your job, and you aren't being paid for the effort. Earplugs and sleep can only do so much. You are not the jerk. Am I the jerk for telling my parent the real reason I want to do everything myself? I want to start this by saying that I love my mom. She's my best friend, and she means the world to me, really. However, I, a 16-year-old female, have a lot of built-up resentment towards her regarding my medical care. Both she and I are frequent migraine sufferers and take a lot of different medications that are imperative to maintain a schedule for. I was recommended birth control by my pediatrician and neurologist as a second-line medication to regulate my hormones and see if that would get my cluster headaches to stop. It did, but it's incredibly important for me to take it every day, or else the headaches will return with a vengeance. My mom knows this too. I remind my mom frequently about when my appointments are and to call the pharmacy to check in for my prescription refills, but she frequently forgets. One time she put off picking up my birth control for so long that it got put back into the system, so I couldn't pick it up again for several days. This meant I was out of medication, which left me in enough pain to keep me out of school for several days until my medication schedule was righted. From that point on, I didn't trust my mother to keep my medical information straight, so I asked her and my doctors a lot of questions and began to do everything related to my medical care myself. I told her it was because I wanted to save her the trouble, since I didn't want to make her feel bad. Recently, she's been annoyed that I haven't told her to call or schedule anything because I've been doing it. She only drives me places for appointments or to pick something up. She interrogated me one night at dinner, asking me why I was trying to be an adult and to just tell her the truth. So I did. I told her that she hasn't been responsible in providing me with what I needed, so I've been taking charge, so I'm not in pain or late to my appointments anymore. She got extremely upset and went to her bedroom, and my dad has been telling me since that I was being unfair to her. I'm sure I could have worded it better, and I feel so guilty for upsetting her. Am I the asshole? In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong here. You took responsibility for your medical care to the best of your ability, and your well-being is more important than her feelings. She failed you by not ensuring you had your medication, and it's not something to let slide. Don't engage with her sulking, just let her know you'd like to move past it if she can. It's great that you're able to manage your health care, which is something many adults struggle with. Am I the jerk for not supporting my parent emotionally during their messy divorce? Am I the asshole for not supporting my mom? Over a year ago, my parents and I were in the car on the way to drop me off at college. It's around a 12-hour drive, so we usually settle in and do our own thing. My father doesn't like when anyone else drives, so my mom usually sleeps, and I stay awake trying to chat with him so he can stay focused and not drift off. I was sitting behind him and glanced over his shoulder. He was on his phone, so I wanted to see what he was looking at so I could start a conversation about it. However, when I looked, I saw him texting an unsaved number on an app that wasn't his messaging app. I looked away quickly but couldn't help but see a few gross messages. Once we got to the hotel, my mom went in and got us checked in while my dad and I parked. I confronted him about it. He got very defensive and said that it was nothing and don't tell your mother. She'll just freak out over nothing. I knew their marriage was kind of rocky, so I let it go. Against my better judgment, I kept my mouth shut. About 6 months later, I came home for spring break. I arrived home at midnight, so I was quite tired. My parents greeted me at the door, and even though it was dark, I could tell my mom had been crying. I asked her about it, and she said she was fine, hugged me, and went to bed. I followed suit shortly after. The next morning, my mother was out, and my father woke me up. He sat down and told me everything. He said he had been inappropriately texting a woman he used to know. He admitted everything to me, which I appreciated. I also told him that he was a piece of shit, which he agreed with. However, he followed it up by telling me that he was afraid of my mother and that she was scaring my younger brother, who is 16 years old. He said that she has been clearly experiencing episodes but refused to get help. I brushed it aside as something that he was just saying until I noticed the little things. There were scratch marks on my dad's office door that turned out to be from a screwdriver my mom used to break in. There were holes in a monitor that my younger brother used to use. She took long 45-minute showers despite always being upset when we shower for too long. I decided to try and help her, as I knew that she must be going through some hard times. What I experienced next was nothing short of horrific. I can't go into too much detail, but the things that were said and done around me still keep me up at night. I've since graduated from college and moved back home for the time being. Once I got home, my father filed for divorce. I wanted to stay out of it, as I don't want to be involved with the mess that this has become. However, it's gotten bad enough that everyone knows in my hometown. Worst of all, my mother has been spreading rumors about me, instantly taking my father's side. So I decided to retreat, and now I stay in my room or at my friend's place until I have to work. My mom and her family think I'm betraying her by not supporting her. Am I the asshole? You are not to blame. It's a shame that the parents are putting you in the middle of their mess, making you feel responsible for your sibling. You're not betraying anyone by remaining neutral. Moving out as soon as possible sounds like a wise choice. Good luck to you. Am I the jerk for telling my BFF to back off of my fiancé? I, 24-year-old female, sent my best friend, 23-year-old female, of more than 4 years a message confronting her about her weird flirtatious behavior towards my fiancé. Here are the signs as I see them. Whenever my best friend and I are hanging out at her house or casually out together, we dress down very casually. I know she dresses up for dates because she would often come over before or afterward, and I'd see her cute date outfits. Oddly enough, now that my fiancé is around, we just moved in together, she always comes over dressed up in what I would consider her date attire. This only happens when we go to my house, not when we go to hers or in public. I didn't notice at first, but after a while, I realized she's always coming over wearing a full face of makeup, tons of perfume, and her cutest outfits like she's going on a date. I asked her to help my fiancé get a management job at a local restaurant she worked in, and she kindly did. This was months ago. She has since quit the job but goes in often for seemingly no reason. I know she's mentioned she's still in the group chat where the scheduling is published, so it makes me wonder, especially since she never mentions running into my fiancé at his workplace, but he always mentions it to me and finds it funny that she comes in so much. Lastly, I've noticed when she comes over to have drinks and dinner at my house, she talks to my fiancé a lot. She talks in a familiar, sweet way I do not know how to interpret. She'll yell stuff like "I love you" a fiancé's name when we're hanging out, and he does something like refilling our drinks or putting on a movie. The frequency and familiarity of these comments kind of make me uncomfortable. She didn't respond to my message for days and then just sent something about how she'll give me time, but didn't do a good job of denying my suspicions, and she didn't affirm them by apologizing. I think she actually ended up going back into the restaurant a few times to say "hey" to my fiancé while she was giving me time. In summary, I'm afraid that my best friend of 4 years might be trying to get my fiancé's attention by showing up at his workplace and being flirty when she visits our house. When I confronted her about it, she made me feel silly and dramatic, but continued her behavior. It's really important to get the fiancé involved and tackle this situation together as a couple. Setting and enforcing boundaries need to be a joint effort, especially if the behavior of a friend makes one uncomfortable. A face-to-face conversation could be more effective since tone and context can get lost in written communication. It's always good to work together to solve these issues and ensure any concerns are clearly communicated. Am I the jerk for not transferring my roommate the full utility bill? My 21-year-old female roommate, who is a 22-year-old female, is an absolute nightmare. Almost every bad roommate thing possible describes her. She's loud at all times, filthy, doesn't pay rent properly, has caused damage to the property, and constantly has either her mother or boyfriend over. Over the 8 months of living together, I have attempted to talk to her many times about all of this and suggest ways to resolve the conflicts. She claimed it was harassment and then decided that I'm only allowed to contact her via email or she will go to the police. A few weeks ago, without informing me, she decided to adjust how much she would like to pay for the rent against how we had been paying for the last 8 months. I only found out about this after receiving an angry text from our landlord saying we were short. I immediately paid what my roommate hadn't. Her boyfriend stays with us 3 to 5 nights a week. He showers, does laundry, and is often here when she isn't. He is filthy and leaves messes in the bathroom. He is constantly playing loud trap music at any hour. I'm fairly certain he is unemployed as he is constantly here during the day, even on weekdays. As I go home for my lunch hour, I always just find him here by himself. The utility bill is completely in her name, and my name is not associated with it at all. These last couple of months, it has been insanely high, almost twice what it usually is, likely because of how often her boyfriend is here. Last month, I tried to talk to her about it and she ignored me and simply told me to pay my half, which I did. This month, however, the bill was even higher than last month and she hadn't paid her rent properly. Her boyfriend had been here more than half of the days and nights of the month, so I decided not to pay my half. I sent her an email explaining that I wasn't paying the full half this month and explained why. I then sent a fair amount. She claimed that I legally needed to transfer her the entire half. I replied that I did not, as the bill was in her name, and I had given her the valid reasons as to why she wasn't receiving half. She told me she was going to take me to the disputes court. I told her that it would not be a good idea for her to do that, as she was breaking multiple clauses in her tenancy agreement that I have plenty of evidence of. I told her we should discuss how we operate things and write up a roommate agreement. She responded, "No, I'm not doing anything wrong. You legally need to pay me," and claimed she's going to lawyers. Am I the asshole for not paying it? You are not responsible for this. Let her take it to a lawyer. Any attorney would laugh in this woman's face. Speak with the landlord about getting yourself off the lease and then move out with no notice to your roommate. She's clearly taking advantage of you, and I guarantee you she will do this to you if you decide to wait out the lease. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.